The pregnancy test sat on my kitchen counter like a bomb. Not mine. My sister Brianna's. The 7th one in 11 years. I picked it up with shaking hands, and for the first time in my life, I didn't feel the automatic rush to fix her problem. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Rage. Before I tell you how I finally broke free from being my sister's unpaid nanny and destroyed her perfect Instagram mom fantasy, answer this. Have you ever been forced to sacrifice your own life for someone who never even said thank you? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. If you've ever felt invisible while someone else took credit for your sacrifice, you're going to want to hear this whole story. Hit that subscribe button and like this video because this gets wild. And if you stick around until the end, you'll hear exactly how I made sure Brianna finally faced the consequences she'd been dodging for over a decade. I'm Cassidy and I'm 32 years old. Or at least that's what my birth certificate says. Most days I feel about 60. My sister Brianna is 29, but you'd never know she has 6 kids ranging from age 10 down to 8 months. Why? Because for the last 11 years I've been the one raising them. It started when I was 21. Fresh out of college with a marketing degree and a job offer in Seattle that would have changed my life. Brianna was 18, pregnant and crying on my parents' doorstep. The father, some guy named Connor she dated for 3 weeks, had vanished the second he saw the positive test. Mom sat me down in our kitchen, her eyes already red from crying. Cassidy, honey, you know your sister can't do this alone. She's just a baby herself. You're so responsible, so good with planning. Could you just stay for a little while? Just until she gets on her feet. I should have said no. I should have gotten on that plane to Seattle. But I looked at Brianna, 19 years old and terrified, and I stayed. I turned down the job. I moved into the apartment Mom and Dad rented for us. I told myself it would be 6 months, maybe a year. That was 11 years ago. Baby number 1 was Kayla. I was there for the birth. I was there for every midnight feeding while Brianna slept. I was there for the diaper changes, the doctor appointments, the first steps. Brianna would wake up around noon, take a few Instagram photos with Kayla in matching outfits, and then hand her back to me because she needed a mental health break. When Kayla was 2, Brianna met Josh at a bar. 3 months later she was pregnant with twins, Austin and Bailey. Josh stuck around just long enough to see them born, then disappeared when he realized babies actually require work. Cass, I can't do this alone, Brianna sobbed, standing in my bedroom doorway while I tried to finish a freelance project at 2 a.m. They won't stop crying. I don't know what they want. What they wanted was food, clean diapers, and someone who wasn't drunk. But I didn't say that. I got up, warmed bottles, changed diapers, and rocked 2 screaming infants while Brianna went back to bed. This became the pattern. Brianna would get pregnant. I would rearrange my entire life. She would post Instagram photos with captions like, Blessed Mama Life #MomAf3 or #Soblist, while I scrubbed vomit out of car seats and survived on 4 hours of sleep. Baby number 4 was Sienna. Different father. A guy named Blake who owned a gym. He lasted 3 months before Brianna's constant drama drove him away. Baby number 5 was Hudson, father unknown because Brianna didn't want to talk about it. And 8 months ago, baby number 6 arrived. Little Piper, whose father was apparently not in the picture. I never planned to be a mother. I wanted a career. I wanted to travel. I wanted to fall in love with someone who wasn't exhausted all the time. Instead, I became a 32-year-old woman who knew every pediatrician in town by name, who could recite the Paw Patrol theme song in her sleep, who hadn't been on a date in 4 years because who has time when you're raising 6 kids that aren't even yours? My parents enabled all of it. Brianna's just going through a hard time, Mom would say. She'll figure it out eventually. You're such a natural with the kids, Cassidy. They need you. What about what I needed? I worked from home doing freelance graphic design, earning just enough to cover my share of rent and groceries. Brianna didn't work at all. She collected child support from the fathers who could be located, maybe $800 a month total, and spent it on clothes, makeup, and nights out with friends while I stayed home with her kids. The breaking point came on a Tuesday afternoon in October. I was at the kitchen table helping Kayla with her homework while Austin and Bailey fought over a toy car. Hudson was screaming in his high chair because he'd thrown his snack on the floor. Piper needed to be fed in 20 minutes. Sienna was supposed to be picked up from dance class in an hour. This was my life. Every single day. Then Brianna walked in glowing. She had that look, that specific expression I'd learned to recognize over 11 years. My stomach dropped. Cass, she squealed, bouncing on her toes like a teenager. Oh my God, I have the best news. I looked up from Kayla's math problems. My hands were shaking. I already knew what she was going to say. She pulled out her phone, opened Instagram, and showed me a photo she'd clearly just taken in the bathroom. A pregnancy test. Positive. I'm pregnant, she announced like it was the first time, like this was some magical miracle. Number 7. Can you believe it? Santiago is going to be so excited. Santiago. The new boyfriend I'd met exactly twice. The one who worked at a car wash and still lived with his parents. Brianna, I said slowly, my voice barely above a whisper. You can't be serious. Why not? I love being a mom. And the kids will be so excited to have another sibling. The kids. Her kids. The ones I fed, bathed, clothed, and tucked into bed every single night. Who's going to take care of this baby? I asked. She laughed, actually laughed. I am? I'm the mom, Cass. Obviously. Something snapped inside me. 11 years of exhaustion, resentment, and swallowed words came flooding up my throat. You're not the mom, Brianna. I am. The words hung in the air like smoke. Brianna's smile faltered. What? I'm the mom, I repeated, my voice getting stronger. I've been a mom for 11 years. You're just the woman who keeps getting pregnant and posting photos on Instagram. Her face went red. How dare you? I carried these babies. I gave birth to them. And then what? You handed them to me. Every single time. I stood up, my chair scraping against the floor. Kayla looked up worried. I tried to soften my expression for her, but I could feel my face trembling. That's not fair, Brianna said, her voice rising into that whiny pitch she used when she wanted mom to take her side. I've been struggling. I've had postpartum depression. I've needed support. For 11 years. You've had postpartum depression for 11 continuous years. You don't understand what it's like. I understand perfectly. I understand that you're 29 years old and you've never had to be responsible for a single consequence in your entire life because someone, usually me, has always been there to clean up your mess. She grabbed her phone, her fingers already moving. I knew exactly what she was doing. Texting mom. I'm telling mom you're being cruel to me while I'm pregnant and vulnerable. Tell her. Tell her everything. Tell her I've been raising your kids while you go out partying. Tell her I gave up my career, my life, everything so you could keep pretending to be supermom on social media. Brianna's eyes filled with tears. Real or fake, I couldn't tell anymore. I can't believe you're being like this. After everything we've been through together. We haven't been through anything together, Brianna. I've been through it alone while you took the credit. She stormed out, slamming the door. I stood in the kitchen surrounded by 6 kids who were all staring at me with wide eyes. Hudson had stopped crying. Even the twins were quiet. Aunt Cass. Kayla said softly. Are you okay? I wasn't. But I smiled at her anyway and said, yes, sweetie. Let's finish your homework. 10 minutes later my phone exploded. Mom, Dad, Brianna's friends, even people I barely knew from high school. All sending variations of the same message. How could you be so cruel to your pregnant sister? Mom called. I answered on speaker while I fed Piper. Cassidy Marie, what is wrong with you? Brianna is sobbing. She says you told her she's a bad mother. I told her the truth. The truth? The truth is your sister needs support, not judgment. She's going through a difficult time. Mom, she's been going through a difficult time for 11 years. When does it end? When do I get to have a life? This is about my family, Cassidy. Family helps each other. Family, Mom? Does family help each other, or does family mean I sacrifice everything while Brianna does whatever she wants? There was silence on the other end. Then Dad's voice, gruff and disappointed. Your mother and I raised you better than this. Brianna needs you. Those kids need you. And what about what I need? You're being selfish, Mom said sharply. Brianna can't do this alone. She never could. There was the truth Mom had never wanted to say out loud. Brianna couldn't do it alone. He never could. And so I had to do it for her. Forever. I'm done, I said quietly. Done with what? All of it. I'm done being Brianna's backup plan. I'm done raising kids that aren't mine. I'm done putting my life on hold. Mom's voice went cold. If you abandon your sister now when she needs you most, don't expect us to forgive you. I hung up. That night I didn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to Piper cry in the next room and waiting for Brianna to get up and handle it. He didn't. At 2 a.m. I finally went in and fed Piper myself because I couldn't stand to hear her cry. But something was different. As I rocked Piper back to sleep, I wasn't thinking about Brianna. I was thinking about myself. About the life I could have had. About Seattle, about the career I'd given up. About the person I might have been if I hadn't spent 11 years being someone else's safety net. I was thinking about revenge. Not the dramatic kind. Not the explosive, violent kind. The cold, calculated kind. The kind where you systematically dismantle someone's entire life while they watch, helpless. Brianna had built her entire identity on being the perfect Instagram mom. She had 47,000 followers. She got sponsorships from baby brands. Companies sent her free strollers, bottles, and designer onesies. She made about $2,000 a month just from posting photos of kids she barely took care of. What would happen if those 47,000 followers found out the truth? I started documenting everything. Photos, videos, timestamps, receipts. Every diaper I changed, every meal I cooked, every school pickup, every doctor's appointment. I created a private folder on my phone with hundreds of pieces of evidence. Brianna posted a photo of herself reading to all 6 kids on the couch, caption, "Bedtime stories with my babies, nothing better than these moments, #mommym, #blessed." The truth? I'd taken that photo. She'd asked me to so it would look candid. She'd read for exactly 2 minutes before handing the book to me and leaving to meet Santiago. She posted a video of Kayla's dance recital, caption, "So proud of my baby girl." All those practice sessions paid off. The truth? I was the one who'd driven Kayla to practice 3 times a week for 6 months. Brianna had shown up to the recital 15 minutes late and left immediately after to get drinks with friends. Every post was a lie. And I had proof of every single one. But documentation wasn't enough. I needed leverage. I needed something that would force everyone. Mom, Dad, Brianna's followers, her sponsors, to finally see the truth. I started with finances. I went through 11 years of bank statements, credit card bills, and Venmo transactions. I calculated exactly how much money I'd spent on Brianna's kids. Diapers, formula, clothes, school supplies, medical copies, birthday parties, Christmas presents. Everything. The number was staggering, $127,000. $127,000. Money I'd earned through freelance work, through sacrificing my career, through working late nights after the kids went to bed. Money I could have used for a house, a car, traveling, investing in my own future. Gone. And Brianna? In that same 11 years she'd bought herself a new car, taken 3 vacations with boyfriends, leaving me with the kids, and spent thousands on clothes and makeup for Instagram photos. I made spreadsheets. I documented every expense. I created a timeline of every major life event I'd missed because I was taking care of her children. My best friend's wedding, my college roommate's funeral, a job interview in New York that could have changed everything. Then I found the perfect weapon. Custody and child support laws. I spent weeks researching, reading legal forums, and eventually paying $200 for a consultation with a family law attorney named Holly Chambers. "Let me get this straight," Holly said, leaning back in her office chair. "You've been the primary caregiver for 6 children who aren't biologically yours, for up to 11 years, while their biological mother lives in the same home but contributes almost nothing?" "Correct. And she's pregnant with a 7th child?" "Yes." Holly's expression was hard to read. "You have rights here, Cassidy. More than you realize. If you can prove you've been the de facto parent, and with the documentation you're describing, you absolutely can, you could potentially pursue legal guardianship. You could also pursue reimbursement for childcare costs." My heart started racing. Reimbursement. If you've been providing full-time childcare for 11 years without compensation, and you can document it, you could file a claim. It's complicated and it depends on the state, but it's possible. At minimum, it would force a family court to acknowledge what's really happening here. This was it. This was the ammunition I needed. "There's one more thing," Holly said carefully. "If you're considering stepping away from this situation, and I strongly recommend you do it for your own well-being, you need to do it strategically. If you simply leave, your sister could claim abandonment and use it to manipulate your family further. But if you establish legal boundaries first, document everything and make it clear that you're not the parent and never were legally responsible, you protect yourself." I left Holly's office with a plan. A real, executable plan. For the first time in 11 years I felt like I had control. Step 1. Document everything and build an irrefutable case. Step 2. Establish financial boundaries. Stop paying for anything related to Brianna's kids. Step 3. Create a public record. Force Brianna to either step up as a real parent or face legal and social consequences. Step 4. Expose the Instagram lie. Show her 47,000 followers who were really raising those kids. Step 5. Walk away completely. I started immediately. I opened a separate bank account and moved my savings, what little I had left. I stopped buying groceries for the house. When Brianna asked why the fridge was empty, I said, "I'm not responsible for feeding your kids anymore." "You are." She stared at me like I'd just spoken a foreign language. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the fact that I've spent over $127,000 on children that aren't mine and I'm done." "You're being ridiculous. We're family. We share expenses." "Show me one receipt, Brianna. One single receipt where you paid for diapers, formula, anything for your own kids in the last year." She couldn't. "That's what I thought. From now on, your kids, your expenses." She ran to Mom, of course. Mom called me furious. "You can't just stop helping. Those kids need to eat. Then their mother should feed them. She's had 6 kids, soon to be 7, and she's never been solely responsible for a single one. Maybe it's time she learns." "Cassidy, this is cruel." "No, Mom. Cruel is watching your daughter sacrifice 11 years of her life while you enable her sister's irresponsibility. I'm done. If Brianna can't feed her own kids, maybe she shouldn't have gotten pregnant 7 times. I hung up before Mom could respond. The next day, Brianna posted on Instagram, dealing with some unexpected family drama. Sending love to anyone else going through tough times, #family struggles, #stay strong. The comments poured in. "You're so strong. We love you. Family can be so hard." They had no idea. The execution began on a Sunday morning. Brianna had planned a big Instagram reveal, a photo shoot announcing baby number 7, complete with all 6 kids holding signs that said things like, "Big Brother again," and "Another blessing." She'd hired a photographer, bought matching outfits for everyone, and even rented a backdrop. The whole thing cost about $800. Money she'd begged from Mom and Dad. I was supposed to help get the kids ready. Instead, I woke up early, packed a bag, and left. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. I just left. My phone started ringing at 8 a.m. Brianna panicking. "Cass, where are you? The photographer is coming at 10. I need help." "I'm sure you'll figure it out." "What? No. Cass, please, I can't do this alone." "Your mom, Brianna. This is what moms do." I hung up and blocked her number. Then I blocked Mom. Then Dad. From a coffee shop across town, I watched Brianna's Instagram stories. The photo shoot was a disaster. Hudson was crying. The twins were fighting. Piper's diaper exploded all over her outfit. Sienna refused to smile. Kayla looked exhausted. Brianna tried to salvage it, but you could see the cracks. The carefully curated image was falling apart in real time. She posted anyway. The photos were a mess. Kids crying, outfits stained, forced smiles that looked more like grimaces. The caption tried to spin it. "Real life with 6, almost 7. Kids. It's not always perfect, but it's always an adventure. #momlife, #keeping vitriol." But her followers noticed. The comments weren't all supportive this time. "Who took the photos if you're in them? Where's your help? Those kids look miserable. This doesn't seem sustainable." That's when I made my move. I created an anonymous account and posted a comment. "Interesting how she never mentions her sister who actually raises these kids." Within an hour, the comment had 300 likes. Other people started asking questions. "Wait, what? Is there a sister? Who's raising them?" Brianna deleted the comment. But screenshots had already been taken. People were talking. I'd planted the seed. Now I just had to water it. Over the next week, I quietly reached out to a few of Brianna's sponsors. The baby brands, the stroller company, the formula manufacturer. I sent them documentation. Photos of me at doctor's appointments, receipts with my name on them, videos of me feeding and caring for the kids while Brianna was out. I included a simple message. "I thought you should know that the influencer you're partnering with isn't actually the primary caregiver of the children in your ads." "I am. And I've never been compensated or credited. You're essentially paying her to pose with kids she doesn't take care of. 2 sponsors dropped her immediately. A third asked for clarification. Brianna's Instagram income was suddenly in jeopardy. She called me from mom's phone. I'd forgotten to block that number. What did you do? I told the truth. You're trying to ruin my life. No, Brianna. I'm trying to start mine. Then came the legal documents. I filed a formal claim for childcare reimbursement. $127,000 plus interest. I also filed for de facto parent recognition for Kayla, Austin and Bailey, the 3 oldest. I had 11 years of documentation proving I'd been their primary caregiver. The documents were served to Brianna at mom and dad's house. According to dad's furious voicemail, she'd had a breakdown. You're suing your own sister. While she's pregnant. I'm holding her accountable, Dad. Something you and Mom should have done years ago. My final move was the Instagram post. Not from my personal account. I barely used mine. From the anonymous account I'd created. I posted a thread with every piece of evidence. Photos of me at school pickups. Videos of me doing bedtime routines. Receipts totaling $127,000. Screenshots of Brianna's posts next to the timestamps showing where she actually was. Out with friends, with boyfriends, anywhere but home. The caption was simple. The truth about @Brianna Blessed _ who really raises her kids. It went viral in 6 hours. 47,000 followers became 35,000 by the end of the day. Then 28,000. Then 19,000. The comments were brutal. This is disgusting. She's been lying this whole time? Those poor kids. That poor sister who sacrificed everything. Parenting blogs picked it up. Local news reached out. The story became, Instagram mom exposed for not actually raising her own kids. Brianna's remaining sponsors dropped her. Her Instagram income vanished. Her perfect image was shattered. Me. I was sitting in a hotel room 2 states away, finally breathing. The legal case took months, but I won. The judge ruled that I had been providing full-time childcare without compensation and awarded me $89,000. Not the full $127,000, but enough. Enough to pay off my debts, enough to start over. I was also granted formal visitation rights for Kayla, Austin and Bailey. The judge said something I'll never forget. Just because you didn't give birth to these children doesn't mean you're not their parent. You earned that role through years of care and sacrifice. Brianna had to get a job. A real job. She started working at a grocery store and suddenly she understood what exhaustion felt like. Mom and Dad were forced to step up and help, which meant they finally saw what I'd been dealing with for over a decade. Baby number 7, a girl named Isla, was born in March. Brianna's boyfriend Santiago left 2 weeks later. Surprise, surprise. I didn't go to the hospital. I didn't send a gift. I sent a card that said, "Congratulations. You're on your own now." As for me, I moved to Portland. I got a job at a real marketing firm. Not freelance, an actual career with benefits and a salary. I started therapy. I started dating. I traveled to Canada, something I'd been wanting to do since I was 22. I talked to Kayla, Austin and Bailey on video calls twice a week. They're doing okay. Kayla told me she wants to be just like me when she grows up. Independent and strong. That made me cry for an hour. Brianna reached out once, 6 months after everything imploded. "I'm sorry," she texted. "I didn't realize how much you were doing." I didn't respond. Some apologies are too little too late. Do I regret it? Destroying her Instagram career, suing her, walking away? Not for a second. I spent 11 years being invisible while she took credit for my sacrifice. I spent 11 years putting her needs above mine. I spent 11 years waiting for someone to notice that I was drowning. Nobody noticed. So I saved myself. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever felt invisible or taken for granted, drop a comment. Tell me your story. And hit that subscribe button because we share real stories about real people taking their power back. Remember, family doesn't mean accepting abuse. Family doesn't mean sacrificing your entire life. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. Thanks for listening. See you in the next one.